28-6, midway through the fourth quarter. I want to say 8.5 minutes. I remember texting my friends and everything saying that I don't feel comfortable. I should, but I don't feel comfortable because let's just call it what it is. The Ravens have blown 10 games. They've lost 10 games when leading by 7 or more points in the fourth quarter since 2021. That's a really scary trend, and it almost reared its ugly head once again. After collapsing at home against the Raiders, if you were watching, like myself, we were having almost a heart attack watching a 28-6 lead just evaporate in a matter of 30 minutes. It was just kind of crazy to see. It started with that onside kick that Zay Flowers had missed after they scored that first touchdown. And as soon as that happened, I was like, yeah, it's happening again. Here we go. And lo and behold, they cut the game into within three. And it took Lamar to do Lamar things to save the Ravens. But aside from that, here's a lot of good things that I did see. I said last week in the preview that if the Ravens were going to win this game, Derrick Henry needed to dominate. He needed to have a minimum of 20 carries. He definitely had over 20 carries, and he definitely dominated. And honestly, that was the difference. You can talk about the garbage time that Dak Prescott, the furious comeback the Cowboys had made, but the game was won by the Ravens offense. They scored enough points to get a win. And for whatever reason, the defense let off the gas. But I thought for the first three quarters, the defense was pretty lights out. I thought Nate Wiggins did an excellent job on CeeDee Lamb. I did not expect him to look as good as he did. Forcing a fumble out of CeeDee Lamb, really frustrating him the entire game. The defense as a whole really did a good job frustrating CeeDee Lamb because he wanted the ball. Dak couldn't really give it to him like he wanted to. And we saw on the sidelines all that emotion kind of spilling over between CeeDee Lamb and Dak. And then later on in the game, we saw Micah Parsons going at it with Lawrence. The Cowboys once again showed that they could not stop the run, and Micah Parsons did not dominate this game. Hence why the Ravens won. I said it was going to come down between two players, Micah Parsons and Derrick Henry. Whichever player dominates the game, that team is going to win. Derrick Henry won that battle. Now, obviously, we want the Ravens to, finish games, keep their foot on the gas in the second half. To me, that it kind of makes you have no choice but to look at John Harbaugh because this team is just too good. You saw how good this Ravens team can be. That's what frustrates Ravens fans like myself because we see how good this team actually can be. When they play their game and beat a team that we know they are. That was the first game that I really recognized this team. Run the football, smash mouth, get in your face. That's the Ravens. I feel like they weren't really that in the first couple of games, even though they were good games and they probably had a good chance of winning, especially last week against the Raiders. But it was great to see Derrick Henry finally break loose and not ask Lamar Jackson to lead his team in rushing once again, especially not in rushing attempts. Derrick Henry was out there the entire game. They fed him. They kept feeding him. That was the type of game they needed to play, and that's why they won. They dominated the Cowboys by and large, 3.5 quarters. That's a formula that can help you win a lot of games and can help you take far. Can help you get over a hump against the Kansas City. That's why Derrick Henry was brought into Baltimore, to be a difference maker. And I thought he really did that. I thought Lamar played really good. Really mistake-free football for the most part. Really almost perfect, I feel like. He ran when he needed to. It was his zone reads were perfect. Got a rushing touchdown. Found Bateman in the end zone off a really good route by him. It was weird not getting any catches from Andrews. Only one catch from Isaiah Likely. But I thought the wide receivers did a really good job. Zay Flowers did an excellent job. Nelson Aguilar had a big play. Going 51 yards down the field. Charlie Kolar, the third tight end, made a big contribution as well. So it was a real collective effort by this Ravens offense to put up the 28 points that they did. Again, I like what I saw from the defense for 3.5 quarters. Again, I was really impressed with Wiggins, how he handled CeeDee Lamb. I thought Roquan Smith continued to be the leader that he is. Kyle Hamilton looks like he's really back into form, making great plays off the blitz. And, just really being the chess piece that he's capable of being. The Ravens front line really did a good job limiting the Cowboys' running game, which was a question mark going in, but they made sure that they didn't get that running game going, and that started to make the Cowboys a little more one-dimensional. and that's always key. Looking forward, got the Bills at home. The Bills are currently 2-0. They play tonight against Jacksonville. We know how good Josh Allen is. We know what a playmaker he is. He has the ability to win a game by himself. This is not the same Bills team that we've known over the past handful of years. There's no more Stephon Diggs. They are more of a running football team with James Cook and also with Josh Allen. They have two great tight ends in Dalton Kincaid and also trying to think right now. Anyway, they have two really good tight ends. They drafted Coleman out of FSU, and they still have Shakir, and they still have a pretty good offensive line. Von Miller is still back there, wreaking havoc on the defensive line, on the defensive side of the ball. So this Bills team is once again formidable. They beat the Ravens last time that were here. This is making up to be definitely another, I think, battle for sure coming to M&T Bank Stadium. So Ravens got to be ready, but I feel confident. Especially this was a big win that was needed. I know they almost screwed it up and put it away, but it's a big win. They just have to build off of this. This is a game plan that they can follow. They won't use Lamar and Derrick Henry in this run game, and it can be really hard to stop. And again, what we're not remembering at the moment is that this is only going to get better because now that Derrick Henry is starting to find his rhythm along with Lamar, and now we're waiting on Keaton Mitchell to get back. We're not sure exactly when he's coming back off that injury, but that'll be a welcome sight for sure. And look, it can be a biased opinion on my end because I'm a Ravens fan, but what I saw was a team that I recognized. I didn't really recognize this team in the first couple of weeks, but seeing how they ran the ball, seeing how they were playing defense for 3.5 quarters, that's the Ravens, in my opinion. Now it's all about just putting together 4 quarters and just keep the pedal on the gas. It's not that they can't do it. They just have to show it once again. They got to do it next Sunday because this Bills team is capable of beating them. They got to play the whole game. They got to play 4 quarters.